you guys for hopping to with me, because we just put this out in the world like 2 days ago. And I'm so grateful. And I was hesitant. I had the inspiration, you know, guidance was like, hey, do this thing. And then I kind of backpedaled just a little bit because I really wanted not to make it feel like anybody needed saving, because you don't now or ever. And I didn't want anyone to feel like this was something you were going to have to do, because we don't need more things we have to do right now. So that was why I started this off right off the bat with, hey, you're already doing great. And I mean that so sincerely. I'm tracking and I'm watching and I'm celebrating. And this is a roller coaster we are on. And everybody's experiencing it differently. Sometimes our highs are pretty high and our lows aren't very low. Sometimes we dip down. Sometimes it's long and extended. Sometimes it's really jerky. Like, no, I'm doing totally good. I'm really cranky. We're all over the place sometimes, you know. That's real. And how you're doing, how you gauge how you're doing or what you feel like you're feeling varies moment to moment to moment. And what we're in is really an incredible upgrade. I have been thinking about it and talking about it like when your phone goes through an update, and usually, and all the apps update and all the software, and it's, you know, usually your phone's shut down. You can't use it while it does that. Well, we have to continue breathing and pooping and feeding ourselves and sometimes working and all the things. So we have to keep some systems online, but you guys might be noticing that we fritz out a little at times. Like, maybe it doesn't look like that, but we might be getting a little bit short, or we might be sleeping a ton, or our brains get a little foggy, or like, I can't remember words all of a sudden lately. All these random little things, or we just feel like no energy. We have moments of, oh, I just have to go to bed, even though I slept for 10 hours. And if you think about it in terms of that upgrade, like our system energy is being diverted to do whatever's happening. I was practicing this earlier, and I had to stop and go like, do I even know this feeling? Can I put a word to it? It's not normal. Whatever I'm feeling is not usual. It's not something I've experienced before. And when we can dive in to that, when we can tap in and feel what's going on and notice it, we have the capacity to feel it and let it move. So you have two separate things happening in your system. You have your emotions, and then you have your thoughts. And your emotions are always a reaction to your thoughts. Abraham talks about your emotions as being your guidance system, just to tell you how on track or off track you are with your thoughts versus your higher self's thoughts, or your inner being, or spirit, soul, whatever you want to call it, the rest of you. So when you're feeling negative, it's like, hey, just so you know, your higher self is disagreeing with you a little, and that's fine. It's human, totally normal. When we have the purity of emotion, not the thought that got us there, but the purity of emotion is always valid. Your emotions are always valid. The thought that got you there lots of times is BS. Just let's be real. Lots of the thoughts we think are garbage and not true, or we make them up, or we go into drama or whatever. Some of them are even subconscious, and we're having an emotional reaction to a subconscious thought we had. Like, we really have to get down to dig for, oh yeah, I kind of saw that person wearing those spandex, and then I made that mean that I shouldn't because I think XYZ, and that's why seeing that made me mad. So there's like the quick little thoughts that we don't really notice. When we can pinpoint an emotion and see what's going on, then we have capacity to just allow it. So I just want to practice noticing first. So my favorite way to do this is a hand on your belly and a hand on your heart. And close your eyes and start asking the question softly to yourself, what's real for me right now? And then just soften and let go of the question and just focus on your breath, your inhale and your exhale. What's real for me right now? See if maybe there's a physical sensation that you hadn't noticed, or maybe there's an emotion that rises to the surface. What's real for me right now? And just let the thoughts exit as they come up. Just be in observance mode. What's the emotion I'm feeling in this moment? When you're ready, when you feel like you've got a handle on it, you can just softly open your eyes. Take your time. And I'd love to hear in the chat box, anybody will share what's the emotion you're feeling right now? And if you want to share, what are some of the emotions you've been noticing cycle through recently? Gratitude. Joy and contentment. A bit frustrated, usually peaceful and expansive. Ecstatic now. Gratitude right now to see a bunch of familiar faces. Worry, trust, presence, and pride for showing up. And cravings for sweets, that's super real right now. Belonging and pride, and anger lately. Freedom, peace, excited, anxious. Annoyed, but glad to be here. Anxiety and excitement at the same time. Impatience, gladness, gratitude, joy, grief. Disconnected, deep connection and creative flow. Exhausted, doubt, confident, love, compassion. These are things that people are feeling, some now in the moment, but also just the things we've been cycling through. Tired, excited, frustration, fear, and excitement. Quite the gamut, right? Nobody said, I'm all right. Right? We're getting some real extremes in this human experience lately. Overwhelmed, worn out, and curious. Yeah, all the things. So I want to do a practice with you. This is a practice that I started doing a couple of years ago, and I find it so beneficial. And I've never used it in this kind of circumstance before. I did earlier today, and I was like, oh, that's yummy. Good idea, team. So the way that I was doing this is what happens with our emotions. Emotions are short-lived. Emotions are like a match, and it burns for a second, and then it goes out. That's an emotion. However, our thoughts are fuel. It's the match thrown into a waste basket full of paper, and it burns and it burns and it burns and it burns and it burns. So our brains naturally start throwing fuel on the fire once we have an emotion. You notice this. You notice this when you're really pissed at your partner, and all of a sudden you're like, and last year he did that too. And one time when we were dating when we were 12, I remember your mind like throws fuel on the fire. Oh yeah, you're feeling sad? Remember that girl who called you a bitch when you were 12? Yep, you felt sad then too. How far back can we go? I bet there's oh, puppies are dying somewhere on the planet. Let's be sad about that. It's just all the fuel that it can throw on the fire. That's taking the match and turning it into a catastrophe, right? Our brains do that. Our brains can also turn it the other way and totally douse that emotion and bring up another one. And you guys saw that just stopping and taking a breath at the beginning here, dropping in together and feeling this, shifted, and most people were actually feeling like pretty decent, pretty quickly, even if maybe we're feeling a little rushed or hurried or anxious or kind of like scattered before. So here's the practice, and here's how I use it. When I notice an emotion, there's two ways that we extend emotions. One is with our thoughts, And the other is when we try to keep it at bay. Because we're like manifesting more of it. Like we won't just let the emotion up and out. So we're like, I don't want to feel grief. Cram it down. And then we extend that feeling, kind of rumbling beneath the surface like a bellyache. So I started this practice when I was going through some really challenging things in my life that were causing sadness and anger and grief and a lot of emotions to come up. And I realized I was getting really stuck in those emotions. So what I would do is I would stop, I would do the practice we just did, and I would recognize what's the emotion I got. And then I would say it out loud or in my head, depending on the circumstance I was in, and I would let it wash over me like a wave. If it was sadness, I would let myself fully feel, surrender to sadness. The trick, not easy, but simple, is to allow zero thought. Zero. So what I would do, because you got to throw your brain a bone and keep it busy, is I would give my brain the job of saying the word sadness over and over and over, and watching in my physical body what the emotion was that was happening. So my brain was on hyper alert, watch, 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 waiting for something to shift, saying sadness, sadness, sadness. And then the emotion would shift, and then my brain was on it. What's the next emotion? And I will tell you, as many times as I have practiced this, I have never been through more than three cycles. And I've never timed it, but it can't be more than a minute. It might feel like a long time, but maybe it's like 30 seconds. So, you know, I might heave a couple of good sobs, and then all of a sudden I get to like, oh, underneath the sadness is fear. Okay, let fear wash over me. Okay. And by the time I get done with fear, I'm in relief. Wow. I've never been through more than three before I get to one that I'm like, okay, I can hang there. Even if it's just like, okay, I'm in contentment now. So I've only ever done this practice when there's a big emotion. Today, as I was in meditation and creating all of this, I was like, all right, so how do we practice this for the collective, what's going on? Because part of what's happening is we've got all this energy all the time and we're shifting emotions so fast, we're not quite sure what we've got going on. So I closed my eyes and I did this, like, what am I feeling right now? And I was feeling, I wrote it down, behind, like I was running behind, right? So I let it wash over me, and that was actually surprisingly intense. The feeling of being behind, as washed over me as a wave, was like, and I just let it happen. And surprisingly, on the other side of it, couldn't have been more than 30 seconds, was uncertainty. I was like, that's surprising. Okay, all right. No thoughts, no judgments. Let me wash uncertainty over me. Okay. And then right on the other side of that was, I'm okay. And the I'm okay came with a knowingness, you know, that sort of, I almost wanted to call it trust, but the feeling was more like, okay, everything's okay. I'm okay. We're all okay. Everything's okay. And I've been running around for a good portion of the day in that behind feeling, just like trying to get to the next thing and feeling like I had too many things to do on my schedule. It took all of 60 seconds, maybe 2 minutes tops, to get myself around to the place of like, I'm all okay. We're all okay. Everything's okay. So we're going to do this together, and you can, I'm going to give you the option. If you, whatever you've got right now, whatever your emotion was right now, if you want to practice with that one, you can. Or if you've got ones that are like close by, you know, the things you were feeling before you sat down and really got here, like if there's some bubbling annoyance or something underneath and you want to give yourself an opportunity. And I'm going to guide you through this. So we're going to see how it goes. And on the other side of it, I'm going to guide you through an energy work meditation. So this will be a couple of minutes that we'll do here. Anybody got a question before we jump in? Okay. All right, you're with me. And if you were feeling a great emotion and you just want to let that emotion wash over you and keep going, what's the other beautiful emotion on the other side of that? What's on the other side of that? By all means, go for it. You don't have to take yourself somewhere that you don't want to be right now. If you were feeling joy, sit in joy. Why wouldn't we want to let joy fully wash over us and completely experience it? Yum, right? Any and all emotions, they are all valuable. All right, find a seat where your feet are down on the ground if you can, or you could do this standing if you like. Close your eyes. Soften into your breath just a bit. See if you can move your awareness a little lower in your body. So it's probably up in your head. See if you can take your awareness down to your heart. Feel your rib cage. Feel your chest expand. And then down to your hips. Feel the weight of your body in the chair. Maybe feel your breath into your hips and your low belly. Then take your awareness down now to the bottoms of your feet. Feel your feet on the floor and maybe give a little bit of wiggle or tension in those toes for a moment and relax. Just being a little more in your body, a little more in this moment. Say out loud or to yourself, I am here now. And then I want you to reach again for an emotion. And just be open. It may be the same emotion that pops up that you felt a moment ago, or there might be something right below the surface that's offering itself to you. So first start to look, what am I feeling right now? And we want one word, just one emotional word. You don't need to change it or judge it. Just notice. There's no good or bad, no right or wrong. And then when you're ready, see if you can just relax with your exhale, let go of your thoughts. Focus your mind on what's happening in your body, in your emotions, and just say that emotional word out loud or in your head. And softly repeat it again and allow your system to feel that emotion. Allow it to just wash over you, knowing that it's just one wash. Continue to say that one word as you let yourself feel. Watch for a shift. Keep saying the word until you notice a shift. Keep feeling. The more you can feel it, the more you allow it to flow through. As soon as you see it shift, say the new emotion. Say it out loud or in your head. Let the new emotion to come fully online. Let it wash through you. Keep watching. Watch for a shift. Watch for any other emotion to pop up. And as soon as it does, you latch onto that new one. See if you can practice the surrender into an emotion. Any thoughts that pop up, just gently push them off to the side. Let them fall right out your ear. Keep saying that new emotion out loud or in your head. Practice feeling. Keep saying it, keep claiming it, keep recognizing it until you see it shift. Keep feeling, keep feeling. Let your arms hang by your sides. Slowly start to increase the volume of air that you're breathing just a little, or maybe a lot, whatever feels good. Let yourself just be now. Just be in the space of release, having let all of that go. Maybe allow just a little bit of a pat on your back as you celebrate that you just did that. Think about the emotion that in this moment you would love to feel. And just say that emotion. Say it on repeat out loud or in your head. And maybe it starts to come online, and maybe it doesn't yet, but later it will. No judgment. Maybe you feel a little step closer to it. Just let yourself breathe. Let your body relax. And claim that word. Give a little squeeze to your toes now again. And imagine that you could send your beautiful, strong roots down out the bottoms of your feet and into the earth. And those roots bypass all the surface stuff on the planet and they plug right into that center point, the heartbeat of Mother Earth, and they begin to drink up this liquid golden light all the way up to the bottoms of your feet. And you suck that energy in, just like turning on a faucet, allow it to flow, liquid golden light moving up through your legs and your torso, your arms to the crown of your head, grounding you and nourishing you in this present moment in your beautiful human body. Let your arms hang at your side and give a little shake to your hands, maybe even your head or your knees, whatever feels like a little shake would feel good. And just imagine that you're sloughing off everything that's not yours and everything that doesn't serve and all the processed emotions and all the baggage, all the stuff you've been carrying or picking up or feeling from the rest of the world. Just shake it off. And then when you're ready, find your way back to stillness and just breathe for a moment. And in this spaciousness, say to yourself, I am. I am. I am. When you're ready, slowly, slowly, you can open your eyes. Okay, I would love to hear anybody who's willing to share. If you want to put in the chat box how that felt or what you noticed or experienced. I'll tell you that I was going to say agreement. Maybe let's just say the fact is that the team, the collectiveness of all of us and a whole bunch of support that's available has said to me, bring everybody together and we'll work on you guys. So there's a whole bunch of love and healing just being beamed at everyone here, and you just get to receive however much you want to. There's no force, being imposed on you, but you might notice that even though we did some really simple but powerful things, that there's even more energy you feel flooding in, love and support and healing. And that's really I think, bigger benefit of, or bigger reason behind all of us getting called here, was just so that we could lean into some universal support through everything we're experiencing. Okay, let's see here. It felt reaffirming, felt like a clearing. I moved up the emotional scale for sure. Resentment to rage to sadness to security. Wow. Nicely done. Felt good to let go of some of the pressure and the weight. Beautiful. Anger to anxiety to tired to trust. Oh, and being held by Archangel Michael. It was comforting. Okay. Sad to alone to proud. Super grateful for the stillness. And I've been hearing my own I am lately. Yes! Fear to sadness to grief to okay. I am. Felt my body vibrating. Yeah. Yes. Physical pains kept me distant from the emotions. Yeah, you can try this. See, Mary, if it helps to do this same practice, but instead of with emotions, with physical sensations. You might notice that they skitter around your body, like my hip hurts, and then you just focus and you just really get into the pain and let it be pain. And then it's like, now your shoulder hurts, and it runs over here. And then pretty soon you're like, I'm actually sad. And I mean, you don't say that, but that's like the emotion sometimes starts to come out, or what the underlying thing was. Let me know if you play with it. Constricted and attached to expansive. Yeah, that's good. Anger with a painful gallbladder to loneliness to gratitude. And my gallbladder stopped hurting. You guys are so awesome. Doubt, fear, weightless. Saw the white light. Oh gosh. Yeah, Ryan, that's so awesome. Came into this horrible headspace and now, I feel so relieved. Thank you. Distracted to annoyed to tired to worried to open. Yeah. And sometimes we have to cycle through a lot because there's so much happening right now. So much. Oh, so good. Okay. Please share this with whoever you want to share it with. Invite in whoever you want to invite in. I'm wildly grateful that you would let me hold this space, and I get the benefit of all of this healing as well. So just thank you.